Bhagavad Gita, chapter 1, verse 26. Tatra pashyat sthitan partha pitrun atha pitamahan acharyan matulan bhratrun putran pautran sakim stata shvashuran suhridas chaiva senayorubhayorapi. Translation: There Arjuna could see within the midst of the armies of both parties his fathers, grandfathers, teachers, maternal uncles, brothers, sons, grandsons, friends, and also his fathers in law and well wishers. You see, the word Pitrun, that is his father's contemporaries like Bhurishrava, and Pitamahan is like Bhishma, that is grandfather Bhishma, and Somadatta, and we can see Acharyan. Acharyan means Drona and Kripacharya, and Matulan means maternal uncles like Shalya and Shakuni, and Bratran means brothers like Duryodhana and others, the 100 brothers, and sons, that is Putran, like Lakshmana. Lakshmana was the son of Duryodhana, and Pautran is grandsons, that is sons of Lakshmana. He said that I can see all these people, and he was talking about people from both the sides actually. He said I can see on both the sides. So he put both the sides together and called them sons, which means he called his sons also as sons. He called the opposite side Duryodhana's sons also as his sons. Do you see the contradiction? Do you see that in chapter 1 verse 1 Dhritarashtra said, my sons and sons of Pandu. Dhritarashtra being the only father for the children of his brothers also. When his brother has left the world already, for his little children who came under his shelter, he considered as his brother's sons. Though they were coming together, staying together, and he was taking care. But here, Arjuna, in the war field, he is looking at the opposite side, Duryodhana's sons, and he is calling them, that is Lakshmana, as his son, and is adding them as his sons and his grandsons. Grandsons means Lakshmana's sons, he considered as grandsons, his own. That was the difference between a materialist and a devotee. That was the difference between a mean-minded materialist like Dhritarashtra and a very compassionate hearted Arjuna. We are going to see Arjuna's compassion very soon in the following verses. Let's see. The next verse, number 27, chapter 1. Tan samikshya sa kaunteya sarvan bandhun avastitan kripaya paraya vishto vishidam idam abravit. Translation: When the son of Kunti, Arjuna, saw all these different grades of friends and relatives, he became overwhelmed with compassion and spoke thus. You see, actually, Krishna on purpose took the chariot and kept, in verse number 25, we saw that the chariot was placed in front of Bhishma and Drona. It's like if you are standing in front of your most favorite teachers, and if you are asked by the army leader to shoot your favorite teacher, when you know that they are your best well-wishers and they are saintly people and not sinners, would you want to shoot your teacher just because the army leader has told you to do so? Same thing happened to Arjuna. He could see his teacher on the opposite side, and he would still not be bewildered, but Krishna played a trick here, as we were just wanting to mention but we forgot. In the verse number 25, we told that Krishna had to teach Bhagavad Gita, and therefore he ordered Yogamaya to create a spell on Arjuna's memory, on his intelligence, so that Arjuna will become bewildered. See, if Krishna wants us to become bewildered, nobody can stop it. But if Krishna wants to save us from Maya, then no Maya can touch us. So here, Arjuna was ordered by Yogamaya. Krishna ordered Yogamaya to cast a spell on Arjuna's intelligence so that he will be bewildered and so that Krishna will get a chance to speak Bhagavad Gita. So in this particular verse, where we see that in verse number 27, Arjuna is now overwhelmed with compassion. So then we see what is he going to do due to his compassion. So actually Baladev Vidyabhushana, he actually has given some commentary. He says that the merciful Lord of all beings, desiring to deliver the universe through his instructions to his dear associate, put Arjuna under illusion, making it appear that his duty to fight was against religious principles. Through a distortion of the philosophy of non-violence mentioned in the Shruti, by addressing Arjuna as the son of Kunti, Kaunteya, as the son of his father's sister, thereby suggesting Arjuna Kshatriya background, lamentation and bewilderment concerning his Kshatriya dharma are here suggested. See here, what is Krishna doing is, Krishna is in this particular verse number 27 addressing Arjuna as Kaunteya. Kaunteya means, that he is Kunti Putra, he is the Putra of a Kshatriya, so you should behave like a Kshatriya. Why are you crying in the battlefield? Come on, you have to fight, indirectly. So, here, but his kripa was on a higher plane. That is kripaya paraya vishnu. Para means superior. So his kripa, the Arjuna's kripa was, though Krishna is calling him Kunti Putra, your duty is to fight, still, the point is mentioned here that his kripa or his compassion was not due to, fear or something, but it is due to soft-heartedness. If we call Arjuna's compassion as fear, then we have got it wrong. It is clearly compassion due to soft-heartedness. That's why the word para, kripaya paraya vishtu, So it is superior compassion which is naturally there in the heart of a devotee. So we move to the next verse, 28. Arjuna uvacha drishtvaimam swajanam Krishna yuyutsum samupastitam sidanti mama gatrani mukam cha parishyushyati. Translation: Arjuna said, "My dear Krishna, seeing my friends and relatives present before me in such a fighting spirit, I feel the limbs of my body quivering and my mouth drying up." So his body started to shiver and mouth started to dry. That is why Bhurijan Prabhu in his book As They Surrender Unto Me, from this verse number 28 onwards, he classifies it into 5 types of reasons which Arjuna gives. Starting with verse number 28, 27, 28, we say that, we can start seeing the symptoms of compassion, especially in 28, where his limbs are, shaking and mouth is drying up. So this is compassion. And after compassion, he then talks about Krishna. First he says, they are all my people, my own brothers, my own fathers. Means both sides he is calling them fathers. Both sides he is calling them uncles. He is not making a distinction like Dhritarashtra made. He is not making distinction. He is seeing them as their own, his own. And he is crying, So that is compassion. He doesn't want to kill. There's a soft-heartedness of a devotee, says Srila Prabhupada in his purport. But after some time, his compassion comes down and falls to little greed. And he says, even if I kill. See, first he says he doesn't want to kill. Then he says, even if I kill, then when everyone dies, how can I enjoy? So he's now thinking of his enjoyment. He doesn't mind now they're dying. But if they die, then how he can enjoy? So it is little inferior. He thinks of enjoying in the next verses. And then after that, he talks about a third reason. That's saying that if all the people die, means the husbands die, women will become widow. Some unscrupulous men may take advantage and exploit these women. And then wrong children, unwanted progeny can be there. And they can really cause havoc in the society. They may not even do, Shraddha. They may not do Pindadan. So much Arjuna thinks, which is all later nicely cut down by Krishna in the future chapters of Bhagavad Gita. So that is reason number 3, that the family traditions can get destroyed. And reason number 4 is, if that happens, then not only those who indulge in sinful activities like illicit relationships, not only will they get sins, but I will be the cause for them to fall down to that level, so I will also get sins. And then the 5th is indecision, that Arjuna is saying, now really, should I fight or should I not fight? Because I see opposite things. We are fighting for attaining the kingdom, but at the end we are ending up becoming miserable, and that's not what we want. We want to be happy. Why do we want to win? Why do we want to rule? To be happy. But at the end, what's going to happen? We are going to feel really miserable if we become all alone in this world. What is the point of such killing our own family after all? So should we actually fight, or should we not fight? Or should we get killed by the opposite party? Is that still better than we killing them and feeling miserable? Let them kill us unarmed. This kind of things, Arjuna is going to talk in the last reason will come in the 2nd chapter. So we are going to go through those in the future verses. So we will stop it here. Hare Krishna.